Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a story of peak human performance that is so massive, so completely out of bounds, that it literally broke the metaphorical vocabulary we use to describe sports. We aren't just talking about a great athlete having a good day here. We're talking about an athlete who fundamentally forced us to redefine what is physically possible.
Look at this number for a second, 76.60. At the 2025 Skate Canada International, Ilia Malinin won the gold medal by a staggering 76.60-point margin. Now, in elite figure skating, victories are usually decided by fractions of a point, right? So a gap this absurd demands a completely new way of thinking. It is basically the equivalent of a team winning an NBA game by 46 points, or a sprinter finishing a race with enough time to grab a water and check their phone before the silver medalist even crosses the finish line.
So this brings up a really fascinating question. What does it actually look like to break the laws of physics on the ice? Well, today we're going to explore exactly how a human being achieved a total architectural rewrite of what is possible. And honestly, more importantly, we'll look at how we can even begin to comprehend and communicate that level of absolute dominance.
Notice this concept we call the paradox of density. When you're looking at a sheer wall of raw scoring data, you start to see how when an athlete's technical achievements become this extreme, they actually become functionally invisible to the average person. When someone is operating at the absolute frontier of their field, incremental framing completely fails. To a non-specialist, the sheer magnitude of these hyper-specific statistics just looks like an overwhelming wall of numbers. So it requires a translation strategy.
Section 1. The Paradox of Density. To truly grasp Malinin's dominance, we have to look at the raw data that literally broke the International Skating Union's scoring system. This brilliantly illustrates where the glitch actually happened. Look closely at the free skating technical element score, or the TES. Malinin generated a surreal plus 53.52 gap over the silver medalist Alexander Selevko in this category alone. He didn't just skate better, he was playing an entirely different game, built on a technical foundation that very few others can even attempt.
Part 2, Rise of the Quad God.
This is where we see exactly how he built this impossible lead between 2022 and 2025. Watching this build chronologically is just wild. He didn't just improve incrementally, he punched right through the physiological ceiling year after year. In 2022, he did what everyone thought was impossible by landing the first ever quadruple Axel in competition. That is a jump requiring 4.5 rotations. By 2024, he landed the first 6-quad program at the World Championships. And then at the 2025 Grand Prix Final, he completely shattered records with an unprecedented 7-quad routine.
But it wasn't just about sheer volume. It was about total, comprehensive mastery. The all 6 types milestone proves this perfectly. First, he became the only skater to land all 6 distinct types of quads across his career. Then, at the 2025 World Championships, he achieved the ultimate feat, successfully executing every single recognized quad type. We're talking the toe loop, selkow, loop, flip, lutz, and that legendary Axel, all in one flawless 12-element clean sheet program.
Section 3. Breaking the scoring system. This relentless pursuit of technical perfection culminated at the 2025 Grand Prix Final in Nagoya, Japan, where he effectively broke the simulation entirely. By landing those 7 clean quads, Malinin secured a staggering free skate score of 238.24, completely resetting the standard for men's figure skating. His technical score alone was 146.07. Think about that. That technical score was more than 60 points higher than some of his top-level competitors' entire technical programs. An unprecedented architectural rewrite of the possible. So how exactly did he rack up 146.07 technical points? Well, he found the figure skating equivalent of a video game speedrunner's glitch. First, you plan a literally impossible loadout of 7 quads. Second, you use a backloaded buff. He saved his most punishing, complex, jargon-filled combinations like a quad lutz Erler triple flip for the second half of the program. Doing this amasses a 10% bonus at a time when other skaters are normally just completely exhausted. And finally, you execute this with 0 deductions, tossing in acrobatic innovations like a legally landed backflip just for good measure.
Section 4, the Multiverse Glitch. Let's return to our paradox of density from earlier. How do we possibly explain this level of dominance to a casual observer? I mean, how do you explain base values, grades of execution, or the sheer overwhelming exhaustion of a backloaded free skate to someone who doesn't live and breathe this sport? It requires a cognitive transition. Raw data proves the achievement, sure, but it fails to communicate scale.
We have to build a bridge by deploying metaphors so expansive they elicit a sense of surrealism, what we call the ha-ha big bridge. This moves the conversation entirely from the realm of better to the realm of impossible, humanizing the complex data so it doesn't just feel like a heavy wall of numbers.
We can systematically track this communication strategy on the metaphor escalation matrix. Level 1 is relative scale, grounding the gap in relatable sports terms, like winning that basketball game by 46 points. Level 2 moves to superhero physics, where the athlete bypasses biological constraints entirely. And Level 3, the absolute peak, is disrupting the established code of the industry entirely. Let's look at Level 2, superhero physics in action. If a normal, amazing gold medal performance is a world-class athlete jumping over a car, Ilia's 76.6-point margin is him casually leaping over the Burj Khalifa in a single bound. The gap is so wide that the judges aren't just scoring him anymore, they're wondering if they need to recalibrate their equipment for alien biology. Everyone else is playing by the laws of gravity, and Ilia simply opted out.
Which brings us to the ultimate Level 3 metaphor, the Multiverse Glitch. This is a perfect translation of an athlete skating in 8K resolution while the rest of the field is still loading their textures. It's a total cognitive transition, because he didn't just win, he literally folded the space-time of the rink so the finish line moved to him, while everyone else was stuck skating in a straight line, dealing with physics lag.
Section 5. Translating the impossible. So, why does mastering this metaphor matter beyond the ice rink? Why should a business leader or a marketer care about how we explain a 76-point figure skating lead? Because using a collaborative framework to explain impossible data transforms technical mastery into a powerful narrative for brand elevation. Take this tech-forward LinkedIn credit, for example. By framing the overwhelming data with this space-time metaphor and leaning into the playful cognitive transition, you humanize a highly technical achievement. It sparks curiosity, it stops people from endlessly scrolling past a wall of impenetrable statistics. By combining raw statistical truth with the ha-ha big metaphor, you create a communication framework for absolute market dominance that anyone can understand and marvel at. Whether you are selling enterprise software, designing a new microprocessor, or landing 7 quads on ice, if you're rewriting the architecture of the possible, you need a metaphor that actually matches the magnitude of your achievement. And that leaves us with this final thought to ponder. As you look at the trailblazers rewriting the physics of your own field, or hey, maybe as you strive to become one yourself, how will you translate those impossible achievements? When your raw data breaks the established code of your industry, what will your multiverse glitch metaphor be? Because if you can't translate the impossible, it just might remain invisible. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep looking for those glitches.